Now, live from Dallas and Fort Worth, this is a special presentation of CBS 11 News at 6, COVID and the classroom.
Confusion.
Right now they're saying it's 3 weeks, and then what?
Uncertainty.
I miss all my friends, my teachers.
And last-minute changes.
Fingers pointing every direction, but nobody really stepping up on this thing.
The back-to-school experience we've always counted on, upended by a global pandemic.
They're taking a lot of precautions. They're making them wear the mask.
Leaving some parents and educators with agonizing decisions, and others with no choice at all.
I don't want to see any of my colleagues die or get sick.
It makes me a little nervous because I'm really not sure what to do.
Whether it is in person or by remote learning, back to school, as we know, is probably never going to be the same. Good evening. Thank you for being with us tonight. I'm Doug Dunbar. So here we are with our week-long series that we have promised you, COVID and the Classroom. Every day, tonight through Friday, we're going to dedicate CBS 11 News at 6, the entire show, to everything education. With such a rapidly changing landscape, it is hard to predict what is going to happen next, and that presents at times incredible challenges for families out there, for teachers, and the school districts themselves that are trying to guide us all through this difficult process. Garland ISD kicked off its school year earlier this morning with all students learning remotely, and some parents are already expressing frustrations this evening. Our Steve Pickett begins our special tonight with a close look at the bumpy ride for a large number of families trying to access school from home.
Malia and Mason Brown returned to school this morning while never leaving their dining table. The brother and sister are part of the population of 55,000 Garland ISD students getting reading, writing, and research via remote virtual classroom instruction. The kids' parents this morning calling that first day just fine.
I know my daughter was extremely excited to see her new classmates, to make some new friends.
As far as my son, we actually used the school iPad that they distributed. That didn't work as planned, so we had to pivot and let him use my computer for his first session.
Many Garland ISD students and families posting pictures of a positive first day of school, but there was also the social media postings to the district's Facebook page. Parents voicing frustration over not connecting to the district's virtual classroom network. The school district confirming 5,000 phone calls today about those glitches. District officials confirming some students likely missed this first morning of remote learning.
It started bumpy and it got better and better and better, and by tomorrow it'll start less bumpy and get better and better and better.
And in checking with how those glitches occurred, what happened for many of them, we were told for the district there's a variety of reasons, but one in particular, user error, not just for families and kids, Doug, but also by teachers themselves. And they say they do expect this process for remote learning on tomorrow to get a lot better. Doug?
Yeah, and a lot of districts honestly feeling kind of the bumps are going to be ahead. So all students in Garland, Steve, are learning remotely for the first 4 weeks. Do we know how many are going to return to their schools? Has there been a survey done at all?
Yeah, we were checking with a variety of schools in the district, got back with us, a number of these schools here in this district, 55,000 kids. They tell us they expect about 18,000, just a third of this entire population of this district planning to go back inside these schools. The vast majority of them want to stay on that track called remote learning. Doug?
Steve Pickett, thank you for leading our coverage tonight. We appreciate it. Now to First Baptist Academy in Dallas. They completed their first day of in-person instructions. Students wearing face masks. They also had their temperature taken at the door. School administrators say that classes are definitely smaller, 10 to 15 kids per class, and students also have plastic shields installed at their desks.
I miss the social aspect still, but it's better than being online. I mean, not getting to see anybody, just staying at your house. It's better to be here, learning from actual teachers.
Some students and parents did opt for remote learning, but a large portion of the school's 260 students, we're told, returned for in-person learning here. And for many North Texas districts, traditional in-person school is delayed, at least for maybe the first few weeks, which means for many, the only option is to get ready for online school. As Madison Sawyer now reports, that is going to require the efforts of both parents and teachers to make it work.
Virtual learning was never really intended for little ones, such as kindergarten through grades 2.
Lauren Utzler, an assistant professor at UNT, trains teachers in the use of educational technology. She says parents and teachers have to reimagine and reorganize schools.
Kindergartners cannot type, and so we need to think about ways that they can manage that technology. Can they log in with a QR code and access their Seesaw digital portfolio? Those are things that we need to think about.
She proposes a soundbite approach to keep lesson plans organized.
It's sort of like, this week we're going to be working on these 5 standards. Create a video for each standard.
Using apps like Remind, Seesaw, and Google Classroom, teachers can inform parents about lessons, homework, and expectations. Experts say attention span for children is calculated by age multiplied by 2 to 5 minutes. For example, an 8-year-old would have an attention span between 16 to 40 minutes at most. In a digital environment, Utzler says it's even less, approximately 6 minutes.
What's important for little ones is having that one-on-one or one-on-4 connection.
Using breakout rooms, which are already built into the apps like Zoom, teachers can provide much-needed interaction. For elementary school children, using student trainees and volunteers provide that personal attention.
The attention span can be expanded because they're not passively sitting there listening to a lesson. They are, in fact, responding to questions actively and really being able to engage with their peers.
For parents who are their child's first teachers, nothing compares to just being there and listening to them about their day.
We need to give ourselves grace and understanding that we're doing the best that we possibly can.
Madison Sawyer, CBS 11 News.
Educators we spoke with said that frequent breaks between the online classes is pretty important for attention and retention. Also, workspaces should be well lit, they say, and comfortable for sure. Virtual learning, as we know, dependent on an internet connection, but thousands of North Texas students simply don't have access. In a moment here at 6, why current efforts to bridge that digital divide may not be enough. Also, new procedures for technology and supply pickup after some outraged parents waited in line for hours over the weekend.
The whole recruiting world was shook by it, so everything was forced to go fast forward.
And then twin football players recruited by schools all across the country. How COVID-19 had a huge impact on their decision.